4, 3, 2, 1. Office Exchange Podcast. I'm here with my great friend Elijah and my good friend Adrian. I'm kidding. All right. Okay. So the office looks a little bit different right now. We did a little bit of rearranging in the past week or so. We got a new couch. Everyone decides to come over to my office and hang out, so I decided to make more room for people to sit. And I don't know how I feel about sitting on this couch because I used to sit on a chair, but I'm gonna adjust to it. How you guys feeling today? How was your day today, Elijah?
It was good. I worked and went to your house.
You want to talk a little bit louder? You sound a little tired.
Yeah, I am tired, but I went to your house. I slept for a few hours, and then I went to work.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm home, right, and sleeping, like I should be at 7 a.m. And Elijah calls me, hey, I'm coming over. Actually, that's not true. I lied. Texted me, Anthony, I'm coming over. I don't answer because I'm sleeping. He goes, I'll just wait outside. I said, okay. So then I call him. I said, where are you? And he ends up coming into my house and sleeping in my office. But that's okay. No problem. I love you anyway. But, Azcona, how's your day today?
It's pretty good. How work today?
We visited you at work.
Yeah, I know.
Your ice rink. Azcona works at an ice rink, and he is probably the worst employee I've ever seen.
Yeah, he is a dick. He's a dick.
Listen, if anybody goes to the ice rink that he works at, which I'm not going to name because I don't want to incriminate him, just if you fall, just if you see him, he's not going to help you up. That's all I'm saying. He'll watch you fall, and he'll say, oh, it's okay, we're not supposed to help them.
I'm not supposed to help everyone.
Sprinkle some snow on you, too.
Yeah. Bro, I fell today. Listen to this. I fell today, and this kid, he's a professional skater, so he does some, he's stops short, picks up the ice, and throws it on me as I'm laying there. I'm like, okay, thanks, man. Anyway, so that's not what the podcast. This podcast is definitely not about Azcona's ice rink job, but I want to talk about introverts because we are like a little group in our group of friends. Because we all have a lot of similar friends, but we have our own little group, and it's called the 3 Introverts, and that's us. I don't know if I'm necessarily an introvert, but I think I'm in the middle.
I wouldn't consider you an introvert.
All right, sometimes
you're like a super extrovert, bro. Like you're bugging.
No. Sometimes I don't want to be talked to. Like, I'm antisocial. Get away from me.
Oh, okay.
But other times I'm like, hey, how are you? Give me a hug. And people don't like that. My friend Jen from college, I saw her the other day in the hallway, and I put my arm on her shoulder, and she was like, Anthony, stop touching me. All right. No problem. Anyway.
The Ville?
What?
Never mind.
The fuck? The what?
The Ville.
The Ville. I don't get it.
Jenny.
Oh, Jennyville. No,
Yeah.
Jen, my friend Jennifer. Shout out to Jennyville.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about introverts here with you guys because I don't really understand it, and I can't really talk about it because I'm not an introvert. Like I said, I'm in the middle. Sometimes I don't want to talk to you, but that's very rare. So I want to talk to you guys and really get your experience on it because there are people out there that think similarly than you guys do, who have probably been in similar situations than you, and it's good to hear stories from others just to know that you're not alone, and we all know how it feels. Elijah, you want to pay attention to me?
I'm listening loud and clear,
Elijah is currently playing with this fucking mosquito bite. Oh, by the way, Office Exchange Podcast is now on SoundCloud. Everything is out. So if you want to listen instead of watching us, you can just go to SoundCloud. The link will be in the bio and the description, whatever. Anyway, enough plugging shit. Back to the introverts. Elijah.
Yeah.
How was it being an introvert? Like, in general. Like, how'd you feel?
Honestly, sometimes I like it.
Okay.
Because, all right, I'll explain.
Okay, go.
So sometimes you give off that vibe that... So a lot of people, before they met me, they said, yo, you look like an asshole. And then when they meet me, like, I'm cool, whatever. But... like, sometimes I give off that vibe that I don't want to talk to anyone. Like, honestly, I don't like meeting new people because I feel like if I'm happy where I am right now, then I don't need to meet you. So, like, I swear, everybody's like, oh, you have that face that you look like you don't want to talk to anybody. Like, when I'm by myself, and, like, it's true because I don't mean it, but, like, if I'm fine where I'm at right now, I don't need to talk to you right now. So
That's insane. I'm the complete opposite. Like, if I don't know you, I want to know you because I want to know everything you do. I want to know your name.
well, I think it depends who it is too. Like,
If there's
say
a sexy female walking by, are you an introvert still? That's what I need to know.
sometimes
Sometimes.
depends.
Mm.
But I'm not gonna be an extrovert if I see some like.
Sometimes I feel
Fine.
like that's why. It's like okay. I'm not. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
All right, if
Okay,
I
go
see like someone that's cute, whatever. It's hard to say because like it all depends on their mood, like how they look. Because like you can because if you're an introvert and then you want to go up to someone, that's a big thing. Like
Okay.
that's a really big thing.
Look. Let's break it down. All right. So
All right.
we're trying to help other introverts here, right? Azcona, you could chime in if you want, but you're probably not gonna. You're more an introvert. You are even more of an
He's like
introvert
a
than
super
Elijah is.
introvert.
Yeah, he's like a fucking. You gotta when I talk like he'll probably consider me one of his like best friends, and when I talk to him have to dig words out of his mouth. So I can't even imagine. So oh my god. Side note, we were at the ice rink today. Somebody comes up to this kid.
Oh my
she
God.
Goes,
Yo, it was so fucked up.
She goes, why? How come the ice isn't like clean? Are you guys gonna clean the ice? He goes,
No. No eye contact.
he
None.
goes, this is what he does. This is what he goes. He goes, nah, they're gonna do it later. And then, like,
Nah, I said we're gonna do it later because we skipped the 3 o'clock cut.
you didn't even look at her.
Bro, I know her. She goes there a lot.
It doesn't matter. You gotta
Don't
give
do
eye
that.
contact, bro. You
I
work
gave her
there.
eye contact.
No,
Yes,
you
I
didn't.
bro.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I did a
Don't do
little
that.
bit.
Don't do that.
Anyway, all right. Hoping, all right. Back to the introvert fucking scenario. Okay, you guys are introverts, right?
Okay.
There are other introverts out there, and they need tips on this area. There's a female or male that they find very attractive, or that they find intriguing and whatnot. They just want to have a conversation with them, but they don't know how to start a conversation, or they're not confident in themselves to start a conversation, or they just don't want to because they're an introvert, but they still want to at the same time. What do you do? Or what tips can you give them?
Shit.
Because you guys are introverts, and people will say that you're not. Like, simply from being on this podcast, people say you're not an introvert. But I think it's easy to be on this podcast because you're talking to me, right?
Definitely
And you're
is,
talking to your
yeah.
friends.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's easier to
And
be
also,
sitting,
there's no one here that you don't know.
and you're sitting in a room that you're familiar in, right?
Yeah.
But when you're in an environment outside of this, I can testify that they're both pretty quiet. I know them very well. Very well. So what do you do if you're in a situation? But you really, really want to have this conversation.
See, like,
So you can't just be like, okay, no, I'm going to, like, how do you approach it? Azcona. You can't just let him talk the whole time. Let's hear it.
Bro, I'm trying to think. Like, I've never been in that situation. I mean, I have, but like, I didn't.
You have a
do
girlfriend.
it.
How did you get that girlfriend? How did you?
I
how
met
did
her.
you?
I met her from a friend.
Okay. But how did you get that confidence to have a conversation with her? Because that is something that people struggle with, especially if you're introverted.
So we were on an Xbox party, and like we were like exchanging Snapchats and stuff, and I
Okay.
just asked her for hers, and then I texted her on Snapchat, and then we just started talking.
Okay, that's
see, I want to get into that, but not right now.
okay. But after that, how did you end up meeting up with her and stuff? Because I feel like that's something I struggle with, bro. Like, I will be talking, like, I give Elijah my phone sometimes, like, just because, and he'll see how many people are messaging me, but how many times do I actually go out and see those people? Fucking never, bro. Like there are so many times
That's what I'm saying.
when I don't
yeah.
go and see them. So how did you make that step to do that? Because you guys just said I'm a super extrovert. Sometimes, bro, I'm like, yo, how do I even hang out with this girl? How do I even go out with this person? Like, what did you do?
I think it depends what's in.
I'm
okay,
asking
okay,
him,
okay.
bro. Like, are you gonna cut him off? I'm asking
I
him
just
how
want.
he
It's like
did that.
I don't want. I just want to say it.
What the fuck was that?
I just want to say it. It's like right.
Okay, go say it.
No,
Say
No,
it.
because that's
say
what I
it.
know
I
the
wanna-
story
I wanna
by
hear what
heart.
you said.
So go ahead.
All right, I think first off, it depends on the scenario. Like, if all right, literally all it takes is one thing to say. Like, literally, they could drop something. Like, they could drop their freaking pen, and they say, "Hey, you dropped your pen," and then that literally just started a conversation. I feel like that's how it is for me. Like, one thing literally one thing can happen, and then out of nowhere, it's like you're cool with them now. that's me sometimes in school. Like I don't talk to anyone in school, but say someone in my class, like say when they force you to go into groups, it's like you start off in the group, no one says a word, and I know it's not just me. I feel like this is everyone that like goes to college and they get put in random groups and then
even high school, bro.
It's
anything group work for fucking
yeah,
job or something.
high school, yeah. So say it's like that first like minute and a half, it's just like pure silence, pure awkward silence, and then all it takes is just like one person to say like, okay, what are we doing? And now everyone's like, all right, yeah, we can do this, do that. Like I feel like that's how it works for me, like. It takes like one word and it starts a whole thing.
Your tip is like to just say something, just
like you could say anything, but
like
it's
your shirt.
But everyone's different though. Everyone's different because when I'm an introvert, but if we start talking, I'll talk, but I just prefer not to talk to you. Like I don't know if I'm saying
so in
it
class,
correctly.
right? If a professor goes, oh, I want to hear a story, or like you're the person that won't raise their hand.
No,
because
but if I'm picked on, I will volunteer.
Because I was in a meeting the other day, right? And it was a socially awkward club. I'm not socially awkward. I made some awkward stuff, but I know how to have a conversation. And I knew other people in that club are that's what they're fucking there for that, you know? So me being the person that I am, trying to break the ice, I know it's easier when somebody else goes first. So they're like, who wants to go first? So I raise my hand right away. But you are the guys that just like, are you going to raise your hand first?
I'll go second. But like,
Azcona won't go at all.
Nah. If I get like he said, if I get picked on, I'll say something. But like, I won't raise my hand.
Nah, no, you won't.
Nah, I will. It's happened to me before. I won't raise my hand.
All right. So go, Azcona. Super introvert. How did you end up hanging out with your girlfriend?
So that day that we were like in a party with my friends, they were like planning to go like to ice skating, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll pull up too. So like when we got there, she started skating. I didn't say a word to her. I just said hi to her. Then we got on the ice. We were just all skating in a little group, and like I was like, oh, you skate good. And then she's like, oh, thanks. And like afterwards, like when we left, we went to Chipotle, and like we were all just talking, and I just started talking to her.
So your thing is try and get into a group environment because it's easier that way.
I think it's easier that way.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because if you're by yourself, you're gonna be like, oh, I don't know what to talk about. Yeah.
I feel that.
But now I want to go back to where you first met, right? On Xbox, and then you got her Snap. I feel like nowadays, why not everyone, but why so many people are introverts, it's because you could literally, you see this cute girl in school, and if you find her on Instagram, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Because it's not face to face.
And exactly, and if you DM them and it doesn't go well, they won't bring it up in person because it's like. So that's why I feel like that's. I guess you can say that's the reason why I'm an introvert, but I feel like that's not the reason. But that for a lot of people, that's why.
I think social media or like technology in general definitely plays a big role in like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Bro,
area.
So many people like say, say they see someone in the street, they're like, oh, I know that person. I follow them on Instagram. But it's like, do you know that person? And it's crazy. Times. Like exactly, I do it too. I'm not gonna lie and say I don't. But like, say you guys are passing by and you guys know each other because you follow each other on Instagram, but you'll never say hi.
Don't say a word, bro.
It's crazy. Like
technology is so.
It's
weird.
Crazy. Like it really fucks up the social world. Like.
Nah, I try and make an effort to say, you know what? Okay, this is the one thing that I can give tips to anybody, and I've been trying to do this lately, right? I've been trying to teach myself how to do this. If you meet somebody, right, or you know somebody, try and remember their name. That'll help so much in anything, right? So like, let's say I said, I was in the social awkward club the other day, and I remembered the president's name and the treasurer's name, but I met them once. But I told myself, like, I have to remember these people's names because when you see them in person, it's so much easier to have that conversation because it shows that you're, I wouldn't say interested in who they are, but it shows like you pay more attention than if you're just like, oh, hey. You know, like
you're like acknowledging them.
Yeah, it's like when someone goes, oh, what's good, Azcona? Like you're gonna be like, oh, like what's good, you know, rather than yo, hey man, how are you? Like it's not the same type of greeting. You know, so that's one thing that I've been trying to teach myself how to do is like, or remind myself to like, yo, when like remember their name, like name to a face, you know, face to a name. So that's something that's like one tip I guess I could give anybody who's like struggling with holding a conversation or starting a conversation. Just acknowledge, like when you start that conversation, use their name. Like I think that simply makes it so much easier. And even if it's like you don't have to have a whole conversation. You can just be like, oh hey Elijah. Like that right there will it'll make it easier next time, you know, to have that conversation with them. And, you know, that's something that I try and do. I don't know. That's
I would also say, like, I've taken communication classes on how to communicate and meet people. A lot of, like, this doesn't really go towards, like, socially meeting people, but say you go for, like, an interview and you're an introvert. I specifically remember this, like, what people should do is, look, like, say they know who's interviewing them, they should look up on, like, LinkedIn or something, like, about them, and it helps a lot in interviews because it feels like you know them already. And also, what helps start conversations if you talk about yourself. Like, if you're scared to talk.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, like, it's so easy to talk about yourself.
My number one pickup line, this is horrible, I'm a manager at Five Guys. That used to be. I told Elijah when I left Five Guys, that was the biggest issue for me.
Yeah, we literally had to think, how can we say he was manager at Five Guys?
Yeah, like that was it, because you start that conversation with yourself. So you're talking about yourself, and then if you use something like, for example, I'm a manager at Five Guys, they'd be like, oh, like, how'd you get that job? Or, oh, like, that's interesting, like, whatever. Or, like, oh, really, I love Five Guys. And then, like,
but sometimes people will give that, I don't give a fuck say.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll be like, okay, cool. No, or sometimes.
You see, that's the thing, though. If you're somebody who's afraid to have a conversation, when you get shot down, don't let it discourage you. I know that's really hard to say and really hard to, like, it's easier said than done. But when somebody just, like, bro, how many times have I went to somebody and said, yeah, like, oh, I'm a manager at Five Guys, and they just, like.
Bro, we did that at Chipotle Upstate. You said you're a manager at Five Guys, and they're like, okay.
Yes, but listen, at least I made that attempt to make that conversation. And I feel like the more you do that, the more confident you'll be in it, because you're not gonna be afraid.
Definitely,
to get shot
that's for everything.
It's like when you told me to go ice skating. You're like, you can't be afraid to fall. You're afraid to fall, you're gonna just suck more. You know, it's the same thing. It's like, don't be afraid to get shot down, and then you'll be better at it. Yeah. Any other tips for introverts before I move on to our next conversation that I want to bring up? Azcona. How does an introvert get a boyfriend? Tell us right now. One quick tip.
Well, if you want to be... Oh, never mind.
Bro, I'm asking Azcona, bro.
Alright.
I can't say anything. I have no idea.
He has no idea.
Alright. Can I whisper a hint?
Go ahead. We just talked about that.
I know, but...
He said social media.
That's a tip. It's easy. It's like, if you're an introvert and you really just can't go up to them in person, just... hit him to the DM, bro.
Well, what do you... Alright, so let's say you text a girl or you add her on whatever, or a guy, whatever, and, you know, you want to make that connection with them, regardless of what it is, whether it's for business and whatnot. How do you approach them after you hit them up off social media first? Because that's also a challenge as well, especially for somebody who can't have a conversation in person, and the easy route is social media. So if you're going to say that, you have to give, you know...
Alright, so...
the other side.
Let's say... like something I did in the past, not so long ago, right? Well, it was a while ago. Like, say I'm scared to talk to someone in person, or say if I don't know what to say through DMs, whatever. You say one comment, like say they post a picture, DM them their own picture and be like, oh, I like whatever you were wearing, or I like whatever, and it starts a whole conversation, and it like. If they answer and you keep talking day by day through DMs, it's like you know them already. So when you see them, it's like you know them. You could talk to them about it, like shit like that.
So you think like met somebody through Instagram, you talk for a day, you see them the next day at school, bring up something in the prior conversation.
Exactly. Yeah.
You think that's your tip?
Because no matter if you agree or not, every time you talk through text, it's like much more brief than in person. Mm-hmm. So you could bring up the topic again, and you're going to learn way much more than you did through text. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel.
Having a conversation in person is definitely easier when you're trying
It is.
to get.
It is once it starts.
Mhm.
Once
you-
that
you-
conversation
right.
starts, you're there.
And another thing that I was gonna say is when you're trying to make a connection with somebody, it's so much easier when you see when you see them in person. So, for example, let's say you don't know them, but let's say you get like their number or something. Try and hit the FaceTime. Try and do something like that because that'll make it easier to talk to them when you see them. Because it's
Yeah.
somewhat like it's like a face to face, except you're not next to each other.
It's crazy. Actually, the first day that it's crazy. Like I'm an introvert, obviously, but this day I met like one of my friends. She DM'd me, got my number, and FaceTimed me the same night, and I felt like, what the fuck? Get away from me. But like, it's like if if you see someone do it to you, it's like it feels weird, but like you enjoy it because it helps you like get more out there.
Yeah, it definitely.
Like
definitely.
literally this night I remember like vividly. I was DM'd. They replied to my story. They got my number because we were talking about homework and how hard it was, and we were both doing homework at the same time. Got my number, FaceTime me that night, and we were just chilling doing homework. I was like, okay. I felt weird,
Okay.
but like they kept talking to me and bringing up shit, and I just felt mad uncomfortable.
Mm.
Like it's like depends who you meet. Like they'll make you talk also.
Yeah.
Like even if it's the first day, they'll
You
make
gotta
you
fucking
talk.
talk when I'm around to ask a million questions.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So those are our tips for our introverts. If they're not good enough, then suck it. Go find your own tips. Just kidding. So us three, we have a roller coaster of a ride, huh?
Knew it. Knew it.
So if people don't know our history, which you should, because it's a very interesting one. No, I'm saying you should try and learn it because it's
I
a
thought you
fun
meant
story.
like they should know it.
No,
Okay.
they should.
Yeah,
We should make a documentary.
Yeah.
Azcona, Elijah had a little bit of a falling out. Azcona was my friend first, actually, before Elijah was, but I was closer with Elijah due to other relationships. This is the way I looked at it, right? We had our group of friends. Azcona was more my friend than anybody else's, right? And I was always like, yo, come here, let's do this, let's do that. Then Elijah and Azcona got closer for whatever reason. Then the falling out happened. Now, we're not going to get too much into that because it's stupid, honestly. It was so fucking dumb. It was literally a miscommunication. Like, if all we had was a conversation, everything would have been different. One conversation, bro. But you know what? The fucking three introverts, our dumbasses, decided to just, my dumbasses.
And we were like 15.
Very young and immature. But my dumbass goes, I'm going to side with my mans because, like, I have no choice. When I should have been like, they're both my mans, so I'm going to fix it. Which is what I would do now. But like I said, I was young and stupid. And then these two decided, you know what, we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to fucking, he doesn't like me. And then that's it. But we're back here now. I think our relationship's stronger now than it like ever was, personally. We've rekindled our friendship probably like 2 months ago, almost. Less.
Less.
Like
less. I'd say
a month and a half.
probably just reached a month.
Yeah.
A month?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're bringing it into like Xbox. I would say we officially started hanging out like a month ago.
Okay, a month ago. Wow, a month? That's it?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, so stuff happened. We rekindled our friendship, and I want to talk to you guys about this situation. Not the situation per se, but the situation of getting us back on the same level, because a lot of people, I feel like, hold on to things that they shouldn't hold on to for reasons that just shouldn't happen. Like, okay, so we were hanging out one night, and once again, Xbox. Yo, social media is a fucking blessing and a curse, man.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
it is. It's a blessing and a curse. But we were on Xbox. We decided to invite Azcona to our game, and he joins. We're like, whoa, what the fuck?
it started off with the game, not even like
Talking.
to talk. Yeah.
Just the game. And Elijah wanted to play Fortnite. Huh?
I was so surprised when I saw that. I was like, what the fuck?
So
Yeah.
Bro, if I'm Azcona, I'm not joining our game. After the Snapchat thing we sent, apparently we sent Azcona Snapchat saying he's what, like a loser or something. What was it?
Nah, you're like, asshole.
Yeah.
Asshole.
Listen, I'm sorry. I apologize for that already. But apparently we called him an asshole. I'm not apparently. Well, if he said it, it's true. But we called him an asshole one day on Snapchat. I personally don't really remember it, but I'll believe him. I'm not going to say anything. So he ends up joining our game. Right? I want you to talk about that. Because a lot of people won't even take that first step. So to get to where we are today, you had to make that step of joining the game. So I want to hear your thoughts on that. Like what tips or what can you talk about to people about a situation? Because the falling out that we had was pretty serious. Like I'm not gonna go into details, but we didn't talk for years. Matter of fact, we saw each other at the
like 4 or 3 years.
bro. We saw each other at the park, and instead of like saying hi, we just played a basketball game and like didn't even say bye to each other. Like that's how like it was just like that. So how'd you feel like trying like what? Talk to me. Just talk to me. Tell me.
So when I saw that invite, I was really surprised. But like, what was running through my mind was like everything that happened. But like, also I was like, that happened a really long time ago. So like, I feel like it's like it doesn't really matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I just joined to see what would happen, and like we just started talking from there.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I felt happy with myself because like I feel like I matured more because I joined.
Yeah.
So
you made that step.
Yeah.
So what can you tell somebody who's maybe sitting in similar shoes than you that wants to make an effort to kind of rekindle something or rebuild a relationship? They just haven't made that step yet. Like what do you say to them? You say to them just do it or like
me just let shit go. Just start like just make the effort to like actually talk to them. So like instead of like having that problem with like with someone like hating someone, you actually just don't have problems with anybody.
Mm-hmm. I think that's something that comes with maturity, but also the situation. Because if the situation was worse, like if it got worse, which it could have, I don't think it would have been that easy to fix. But I do also think that a lot of people hold on to little things for the dumbest reasons. So I agree with you what you said. Like, you know, if you're in a situation, if you're even thinking about rekindling the friendship, then it's probably worth rekindling, right? Like, if that's in your mind, then it's probably worth it. Because if it was that bad, that wouldn't even cross your mind, you know? So I agree with that tip where it's like, you know, try and make the effort. Or if you're even thinking about it, like, don't be completely turned off by the situation. So you got... Okay, go.
But there was one thing that like actually made me think about it, like that class I was telling you about that I take.
Right.
That's like the main reason I started thinking about like everything I've done in my life. So I feel like that was like a relief, and it made me actually think about everything that happened. And I actually wanted to do that, and like I wasn't gonna do anything, but like I feel like that was a sign when you guys invited me, because it was already on my mind. So I feel like it was a sign.
But I want people to understand that it was one conversation that changed everything. Like, it was literally one conversation. Like, that's all it takes sometimes, is one conversation. Azcona and I... So, do you want to tell the story? Like, because all they know is that we invited him to an Xbox game. Do you want to, like, go through the whole story?
Yeah, briefly. But, alright, so it started with that. Then, I was on Anthony's account. And I didn't want to talk to him, so I would hand him the mic while I'm playing. So he's like standing right on me, and I'm playing with him.
If y'all understand how short an Xbox headphone wire is, you know what we're talking about. Literally, this is us, bro.
Yeah, we're like this next to each other. So I'm like telling Anthony trying to tell him what to do. So I'll be like, "Oh, Anthony, tell him to stop doing that." And then he'll be like, "Yo, he said stop doing that." And that's how it went for like, it was a good week.
Yeah.
Like, adding the days, it was probably like a good week. And then eventually, like, I got on, and then like, but then he didn't say a word. So they would talk on the phone instead. But he heard me and said his mic was broken, which it wasn't.
Nah, it was, but like I fixed it afterwards, bro. I'm not even kidding.
Broken.
The introverts are here, baby.
So they would talk on the phone. Meanwhile, he hears me, and then it just ended up like.
So that's how we ended up talking. But what I want to talk about is the conversation that Azcona and I had. Or if I say Adrian, it's fucking him right there, that guy. Adrian Azcona, I don't know. I call it Azcona, Azconta, Azhola. He has nicknames. But the conversation. So what happened was, you know, we were playing Xbox, whatnot. Elijah left one night, and I didn't play the game that they were playing. So once he left, the game, I was like, okay, whatever. Then I decided to actually have a conversation with Azcona. I was like, listen, you know, how's everything? You know, I think that's as simple as it started off. It was like, how's everything? How you been? I wasn't getting very much answers, right? But I wanted to. I was curious as to what was going on because I did care about this person that was in my life at the time, and I wanted to, you know, just catch up and see what was happening. So I was talking to Azcona. I was telling him, yo, how's everything? How you been? And he was like, oh, I'm okay. I'm this. I'm that. Then eventually, the conversation ended up going more in depth, right? Azcona was like, yo, can I tell you something? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And then one thing led to the next. And after that conversation, right, I heard everything that was going on, and I said, like, this has to change. Like, this, whatever is going on has to stop. So I said to Elijah, yo, we're going to hang out at Azcona.
And this was before I started, like, changing. So my response was like, I said, if he wants to talk to me about it, he has to reach out to me. I'm not gonna go out of my way and talk to him. So when he told you on the phone, I was waiting for him to come to me, and then we'll talk about it. But now it's different, of course.
But you know, I ended up talking to Elijah, and Elijah ended up, you know, I'm not going to take the credit. Elijah, you know, he decided that he wanted to have that conversation. Because, like I said, the original problems were between them, and I was kind of just, like, part of it because I was close with both of them. So, like I said, even though this story seems a little bit like there's a lot of moving parts, you have to understand that it was literally one conversation. Like, I can't stress that enough. To where if Azcona and I never had that conversation, nothing would have changed. We would still not ever talk to him. We would still be like, I wonder what he's up to today. You know, and he'd still probably be in his house thinking like, well, do they hate me or what? You know, so if you are having problems with somebody, if you're holding grudges, and the relationship even crosses your mind that you want to fix it, go for it. Try it. It might make you feel better. And shit, even if you talk to that person, the relationship isn't back to where it was or doesn't rekindle the way you want it to, at least you have that stress off your shoulders. Because it's so stressful not liking somebody.
Also, though, a lot of people are stubborn, so they won't fix it because they're very stubborn. And like me, they'll wait for them to reach out. But you can still be stubborn and you can try to work it out. Like a lot of people, like I'd say a lot of people that have gone to arguments in the past and they're too stubborn to talk about it. Like they're just like, fuck it, whatever, I'm done with them. And then it's crazy, like, it'll change over time. Like, I never would have thought I would have been talking to Adrian, ever. Like, I had, like, so much, like, I didn't say I had so much hate, but it was, like, so much, like, I don't really give a fuck about him. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. So, our tips for our introverts are, let's run it back. All right. Tips for our introverts. Use social media to your advantage.
But limit yourself. Social media is only meant for just, like, a quick, like, don't fucking do no online relationships. I'm saying for relationship-wise.
Hey, man, listen, Christian mingle, bro. Don't do that.
Nah. Don't have online relationships. Just make it as an outreach. Because social media plays a big role in everyone's lives nowadays. Just do a simple outreach. And then you work your way from there. If you're an introvert, though, if you're able to go up to someone in person, do that because it'll show how much more of a say how much more of a man you are if you're a man, like,
or how much more confident you are. People like confidence, you know. People like confidence. I don't want to date a girl who who's scared of the world.
But this is in life too. I'm not even saying if you go up to a girl or a guy.
Of course.
Like say even for a job, every time I'm at work, I get a few phone calls like, "Oh hey, are you guys hiring?" I was like, "Dude, just come in. Like, you have to come in and show your face. I'm not gonna write your name down if I don't know what you look like or who you are." So,
but I'm just gonna backtrack here about the whole situation. 'Cause I didn't. How do you guys feel that this situation is behind us?
it feels better because like that's one less thing you have to worry about. It's like, okay, she's gone now. Like that's like all of everything in your past that bothered you it's gonna like have that weight on your shoulders, and it's gonna like it affects your life if you don't even realize it.
And it takes energy to
exactly like it takes energy to hold a grudge and be mad about it. Like if you just end that, you don't even have to be friends with the person. Like if you just end it,
have the conversation.
just end it, and then that's it. Like that's like literally after that night at like fucking 4 a.m. that we had this conversation. Like I went home and I was like, okay, that's one less thing that I gotta worry about, and then continuing with my path.
And Azcona, how do you feel after everything?
I'm actually pretty happy about it because like it was always on my mind, but like there was nothing that I felt like I could do.
Mm-hmm. And do you want to touch up on the classes, or are you just going to leave it there? You don't want to talk about that?
On the life classes?
Yeah. Because that might help somebody who is in a similar situation, but of course if you don't want to
You don't have to talk about it, but I actually like to know too, because that's something that I would probably want to do also.
Well, the class is in Spanish. It's all in Spanish.
But there is English ones probably out there, right?
For this company, no.
There's definitely some.
No, I'm saying like in general.
For a different company, there definitely is, but not for the one.
Are we gonna get into it? You want to talk about it?
I mean, I'll give like a little like description about it.
Okay, but this is how we're gonna do it. I want you to tell us why you decided to take the class, because if people don't know, a point of this podcast is because I want people to not feel alone, right? Like I have different guests every single week, and I have specific guests for specific reasons, and I will continue to say this because I want people to understand that they're not alone. And I want to use my platform to get that out there, right? So if there's somebody who's going through a similar situation than you have to explain why you took that, why you made this decision, because they need to understand why you did it as well, because they might not even know that they're going through something that you're going through, but it might help them in the long run because it helped you. So I want you to say, if you're going to get into it, why you decided to go on this path and make this decision.
Alright, so with me, I didn't choose to go to it. My aunt, she paid for me, and she told me, "Oh, I think you should go to this." She did it, she liked it, and I was like, "All right, so let me just try it." I took the first class, and I really enjoyed it. So there was 2 more classes, and I took those 2 also. But from the beginning, so when I got there, I was like, I'm not gonna like this shit. Like, but then like throughout the days, like I felt more relieved because it was making me think like a lot.
So what are these classes though?
They're basically life classes. So they put you through these exercises, and they make you do these I would say like challenges like in public and stuff, but like mainly with yourself, and show how much confidence you have, like how you are as a person, how you treat other people, how you handle certain situations, and it makes you think like how you've been like all your life, and how you've handled like everything you've like been through.
So it's a form of therapy.
Sort of, yeah. But with like other people.
Right. It's not a typical one-on-one therapy session that you sit down and talk to somebody. It's like it's a group life class.
Yeah.
The best way to explain it. So what do you do in these classes? I know it's hard for you to talk about because even when I ask you, it's like you just have to be there to experience it, right? Yeah, so you know it means it has a big effect on you positively. So, but explain it the best way you can. Like you said, you go out and you do these things, but how does it make you feel? Like how does it help you? Because these people somebody could hear that and they'll be like, okay, he's going out and talking to people in public, or okay, he's reflecting on himself. But how did that help him? Like how did that get you to where you are today?
It shows you how much confidence you have. Because like you can't just go up to random people in the city and just start talking to them. So like it showed you like how much confidence you had in yourself. Like for one example, like one time we had to They made us go to talk to people outside. I was with 2 people, and we just had to go up to people and ask them what their dreams were. And we were supposed to talk to 3 people. I only talked to 1, and that reflected on that. I reflected on that, like, because I never really had that much confidence, so it made me think like, oh, they're right. But the other 2 people, they were like, one of them talked to all 3 people, but the other one didn't. So, like, it showed you, like, how much confidence you had. And when we got back, they were just talking to us about it. And not, not everybody, like, did the, like, all 3 people.
Yeah.
So, like, they started talking about it, like, oh, yeah, this is why, like, you haven't had confidence. You're scared to talk to people. You're an introvert. Basically that, yeah.
Just self-reflection,
yeah.
you know, of who you are. So, alright, so, yeah, I know you said your aunt made you, she didn't make you, but she told you should do it and whatnot. What should somebody do if, how do you, okay, you think that class is beneficial? So let's say me, right? Like, I'm a confident guy and whatever, I'm an extrovert, whatever. We're kind of opposite, right? In some ways. You think I'll still benefit from it?
Yeah, it'll open up your mind more. That's like what it's like. That's what it's for.
So, bringing it full circle, therapeutic exercises aren't only for people who are sad, depressed, crazy. They could benefit anybody, whether you're happy, sick, sad, depressed, anything from any angle. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it makes you think about things like you won't think about. Like, nice. It really, like, digs deep down in you.
Interesting. That's just, I'm happy that you said that, because I'm somebody who's big on therapeutic things, and I hate the fact that therapy is looked at as like a negative thing. Like, okay, you go to therapy, you're crazy. Okay, you go to therapy, you have a problem. So you telling me and telling all of us that you don't have to be sad to go to these things, that it is beneficial for anybody who wants to take that step, is beautiful to hear, you know? So I appreciate you for sharing that. Elijah, do you want to say anything on that, or do you want to talk about it, ask any questions?
I think, because, like I said earlier, like, I'm interested in these classes because I've always wanted to take therapy, and I don't know if I want to do it, so that's why I wanted to know. But, I think for anyone that wants to think about it, I honestly believe, like, I never really believed in therapy because I feel like they could never, like, relate. But if I think these life classes are better because you're around all these people that are in the same position as you. So,
well, I think I'm gonna end the podcast there. We're gonna end it on that note. The therapeutic note. Go to fucking therapy, right? Even if you're healthy as shit, go to therapy. Talk to somebody. They could definitely help you. Or you don't have to talk to somebody. Do a therapeutic exercise. Meditate or something. I don't fucking know. Eat fruits. Eat broccoli. Broccoli's good for you. But thank you guys for stopping by the office. I appreciate it. Anything else you guys want to say? Any last tips? Any advice? Anything you want to say to your girlfriend, Azcona? You love her?
I love you, Maria.
All right. Elijah, anything else?
No.
You want to say you love it to King?
No, that's my little boy. Nah, spread love.
Yeah, positivity, man. Energy you put onto the world come back at you tenfold. Yeah, I believe it. Have a good day, guys. Thanks for watching. Remember, the podcast now on SoundCloud.